Okay, so I'm Sam Shank, and CEO and co-founder of Hotel Tonight. Let's see. So I wrote down some things that I wanted to cover today. So, well, first, I'll give you a little overview of Hotel Tonight. It won't be too self-promotional, but it'll cover what we do and why we do what we do and why it's different and unique. We're going to talk about how to use social media to build a brand. So we're a relatively new company, and 16 months ago, I'll show you what we had, not much, and we've built a really great brand now that really stands for last-minute mobile hotel bookings, and we're the leader in our category. And we use social media to create a lot of that buzz and a lot of that excitement around what we were doing. And I think that will be, the lessons that we've learned from that can be applicable to anyone else here that is building a brand for a client, building a brand of a division within a larger company, not necessarily doing a startup though, certainly applicable there. We're going to talk a lot about social media on mobile and some of the challenges for it and some of the opportunities that I see in the future. And then talk about the social layer and our vision for the social layer, where we see that working in travel and in related categories out in the Valley in San Francisco. And lastly, a little bit of my pontification that you'll have to endure. So this is what we had 16 months ago. Literally just a whiteboard with a couple screens. We had an idea that we should make that mobile with travel meant last minute, that it meant booking on demand, it meant booking at the last minute, getting a great deal, but also a very efficient process. So we had 4 screens, a very simple booking process, and we decided to, hey, let's bet the company and build this. And a few months later, we launched Hotel Tonight. So it's really amazing what you can build from just an idea with a lot of hard work. That year we didn't have Thanksgiving. I ate turkey and then went upstairs and continued to work on the product. But we launched the product and had a great response. So here's what we do. We do same-day hotel bookings only. We're in 30 cities around the country. I booked a stay last night at the Wynn. I booked for, I think, $120. Normally that room goes for over $250. They provided a discount to that room because otherwise that room was going to go empty. We're 100% mobile. The only way you can access Hotel Tonight is on a mobile device. So if you can download our app for the Android, you can download the app for the iOS devices, and then you can go to a mobile website on those products too. But you can't go to it on a browser. And that makes sense because at the last minute, most people don't have their laptop with them when they're out and about. Our goal is to make the world a more spontaneous place, and I'll tell you how we're doing that. We're filling distressed inventory for these hotels like the Wynn, and we launched a year ago officially, and we've got 1.2 million downloads. So you've heard a lot about likes. I think a lot about downloads. This is how the product works. At noon every day in each of our markets, we have a collection of hotels that go on sale. It's kind of like a private sale, like a Gilt Group or Ideally, if you're familiar with that. There are 3 deals, something for everyone. There's a luxe hotel, which is a high-end hotel, a hip hotel usually, and then a basic hotel, which is the solid category here. And let's see, you can see a lot of information about the hotel. We focus a lot on curating the list of hotels that we work with. Not everybody gets in, only top hotels. That's one of the reasons we only show 3, is that at the last minute, it's really hard to browse through a big list of 400 hotels like you'd find on some of the big travel sites and sort and filter and figure out which one's right for you. We've done all that work, and then we put together a lot of information about the hotel. We put together content about the hotel that's related just to the needs of the last minute booker. So in this case, it's how much does the minibar cost? Is there a minibar? How late is the bar itself open? What's the bar like? And then other things about the amenities, about check-in, things that you really need to know in bite-sized pieces, again, for the mobile use case, and this really small screen that's very hard to design for. We also take our own photos. One of the things about travel that annoyed me when I got started in the travel business, this is my 3rd online travel startup, was the hotel photos, the stock imagery of a bar that is taken in the afternoon with nobody in it. And that doesn't look at all like what you're going to experience. This is what you really want to see. This is what you're going to experience. This is what gets you excited to go to that hotel and merchandises the hotel. The reason why the hotels don't do that is because they only take photos every 10 years. And on that 9th year, they don't want people that have 10-year or a decade old of fashion in their photos. So they don't put any people in there. And then here, the photo of the minibar, so you know what you get. This also has a nice benefit of encouraging you to spend money at the hotel, which the hotels like. So back here, so this is the second tap on our app. So after you open the app, it'll figure out where you are, show you the deals for tonight, and then you, in this case, we want to say, I need 2 nights. So I'm going to tap one more time again on 2 nights, and I get to $378 for 2 nights. I think normally this would be over $700 at the Hotel Vitale, which is one of our nicest hotels by the Ferry Building in San Francisco. One more tap, and you'll see the order summary here. I've already registered in this case, and I've already put my payment information in. We've saved all of that. So I can just go ahead and tap one more time to confirm my booking. We added this screen because the first version of the app just had one more pop-up that said, are you sure you wanted to book? And people were saying that they booked accidentally, or that their kid, we had somebody that said their 4-year-old booked for them. So we put this screen in, and we make you trace this little logo that we have. And after that's done, you've booked your stay. Your room's confirmed. You're ready to check in. If you hadn't gone through the process of adding on an additional room, it's 3 taps. It's about 7 or 8 seconds. It's the fastest way to book a hotel. We think that's very important when you're at the last minute, when you're on a mobile device, when you want to get out of the app and into your hotel room or back to whatever you were doing. We make it really easy for people to share their stay. This is one of the social media hooks we'll talk about later. In this case, it's Twitter, and it's integrated with iOS 5.0 and later, so it's very simple to tweet that you're staying at the hotel. And then we'll link you to driving directions. In this case, it's walking directions from our offices on 2nd down to the Ferry Building, or Vitale. Some of the metrics that we focus on a lot are the tap count and the number of seconds to complete an action, and we benchmark ourselves versus the big incumbent players. So versus Priceline and Hotels.com, it takes us 7 seconds and 4 taps to book. And that's about 10x better than the other guys. And we are obsessive about reducing the number of seconds, and we're measuring that now in fractions of a second. So as you guys have mobile strategies, I'd encourage you to think that way, because people really don't have the patience to spend even that extra 10 seconds on doing something where they would on a browser. So as we've gotten into this, one of the fun things that we've seen is that we've not only solved a problem for people that need a hotel, but we've generated a whole new category of demand. So we call these people impulse bookers, and it's about half of our bookers that are motivated by the convenience of the deal, the quality of the deal, and the value of the deal. That's a great hotel at a great price. And these are people that otherwise wouldn't have even stayed in the hotel. So they're out on the town, they would have maybe gone home, they would have stayed home, but we can encourage them to go on a last-minute staycation. All of you guys should think about using this product in this way, and it's a lot of fun because it opens up a whole new use case and makes life a lot more fun. We have a lot of people that around 10 o'clock, these are people that live down in Palo Alto, they're up in San Francisco, and they say, hey, the night's going really well. I'm going to stay in San Francisco tonight, and I can book a great room for $80 on Hotel Tonight. Or the night, sort of dead, it's raining, the show was miserable, so we're going to go home, and they drive home and they don't have those extra drinks. So we're changing the way that people think about being spontaneous, that they don't have to plan, and they can also save some money along the way. And then the hotels love it because we're bringing them new customers, and not only new customers that would have stayed at another hotel, but new customers that wouldn't have ever stayed in a hotel. And then of the customers that do stay in the hotels, we found that 91% are new customers. So this is a stat that the hotels really like. They track and they verify this themselves, and they're very happy with the fact that somebody can be introduced to their hotel and then, hey, I was at the Hotel Vitale, I can't wait to go back there. Well, if you want to go back there, you need to book in advance on the hotel's website, because we don't do advanced purchase bookings. So why do hotels like this? It's real time. They make changes. If they make changes to their pricing or to their inventory, they say, I don't want to sell on Hotel Tonight anymore. That's implemented in real time. The merchandising is great. The selection is limited, so they get a lot of great exposure and marketing benefit. And then there's unpredictability in the app experience. So every day we show different hotels. This is Monday through Thursday in Las Vegas. You don't see the same hotel once. So if you really like the Wynn and you want to stay there, then you need to book in advance, because you can't be guaranteed that the Wynn's going to be on sale. This gives the hotels the confidence to provide a last-minute discount without encouraging their loyal customers to wait till the last minute, which is one of the fears that hotels have. If they were offering a last minute discount every day, then people would wait around and book at a discount that day. So we track social media a lot. This is some of the top tweets that we've had. We focused a lot on getting the word out to influencers and the tech early adopter community. That's our target market, 25 to 35, the people that are interested in the latest and greatest. And some of the tweets here that are really exciting for me is when we get compared to these brands that have also been successful in reaching those markets. So Airbnb or Uber and TaskRabbit, it's something we've aspired to, and it's happened because of the seeds that we planted in social media as well as the orientation of the product. And here's how we're doing, just as the market leader in last minute hotel bookings. Can't reveal exact numbers, but they're getting bigger every week. Okay, so let's go back to social media and how we got there. So cold start, 14 months ago we beta launched the product. Nobody'd ever heard of us before. We used social media to get the word out, and our goals for this were, one, let's see, there we go. Oops. Okay. So one was credibility, and this was important for us. We needed to be credible in the eyes of the press, which was very important for our growth and our momentum with the tech early adopter community especially. We needed to be credible with hotels that were also important for signing up, and then we needed to be credible with consumers. The second was creating awareness. If we created awareness, that was it was great, but that was secondary to getting credibility. And the last was transactions. It's actually very hard to go, and we'll talk about the challenges of being mobile, which is kind of like being in an island when you're in an app. You don't have a way to link people from Facebook, where a lot of the time they're on a different app or they're on a different device, to your app, and know that they came to your app and booked because of an ad that you showed in Facebook. So transactions was a distant third. If it happened, it would be great, but we don't even track it now. Or we track it in very limited ways. So the other interesting thing about these goals that we had was it's exact opposite goals if you're running social media at Priceline or at Hotels.com, where you're focused on driving transactions, and that's how you're measured against, and that's the ROI that your manager's asking for, because that's how you get measured about on Google and Google SEM. We didn't worry about that. We focused on credibility, and we've been successful with that. I think I need to stand a little. Need to hold it over here. There we go. So this is what I didn't want to have happen. This is a buzzy startup. They were in the USA Today. They had a great review in the USA Today. They got a lot of traffic. They provide a service that lets you, if you have booked a hotel, you can put that out for bid and maybe get a better deal with a private offer from a hotel. It's kind of an interesting idea. But when I went to their page this morning, they had 135 likes. So are they really a big company? Is anybody using them? Does anyone care? There's only 43 people in the world talking about them. That's probably the size of their office and support team. So really what's going on here, I don't know, and I don't feel very comfortable using them as a product. I don't know if I feel very comfortable writing about them, and if I'm a hotel, why would I sign up and waste my time on this if nobody else cares? So we didn't want that to happen with our brand. So I wish I had a screenshot of it when we launched, but when we launched, we had 15,000 fans, instant credibility. We currently have more fans than Priceline. We have more fans, way more fans than Hotwire. And we're a 30-person company. A year ago, we were 3 people. And we look bigger than $30 billion worth of market cap in some ways, right? In terms of that one metric. You know, while they spend a lot of money with Shatner and, you know, having him fall off a bridge, we can spend money and time and innovation and creativity on social media, and we can look bigger and have a bigger impact. So here's how we did it. The first 500 fans, we twisted the arms of our friends, our own friends, the 3 of us, and got 500 of our own friends to be fans. And then we used some targeted Facebook buys and got another 10,000 or so fans. And then we focused on engagement. And we still use some targeted ad buys, but less and less since then. Do I need a different clicker? Nice. All right, engagement. So the other thing we look at is not just total fans, but the ratio of engaged fans to total fans. Our ratio, it's about 4% right now, which is higher than any major travel company. One of the challenges with travel and engagement changes from company to company, and I'm just joining the conference, so maybe this is all old news, but I was looking at the New York Giants, and their engagement ratio was about 40% off several million fans, but they just won the Super Bowl. A travel site and a travel category, a travel company is always going to be challenged with engagement because you just don't travel all the time. You don't think about it all the time. It's an area of passion, but it's an area of passion from an episodic area of passion. So either way, we benchmark ourselves against the other guys, and our ratio is significantly better than them. And our absolute number of engaged fans, which is it's about 4,000 of 100,000 total, is more than the total number of engaged fans on Priceline, Hotwire, and Orbitz combined. So we think we're doing a pretty good job, especially benchmarking against our competition. So how do we do the engagement? I tell the team we're doing it the old-fashioned way. There's no shortcuts here. We've got to be clever. We've got to be innovative. We've got to have a brand that talks to people and doesn't talk down to people. We've got to be cool. We've got to be hip. Fortunately, we've got a brand that resonates in that way and has those characteristics. And that was by design, was to create something that would engender the word of mouth. Travel's a fun thing. It's not about finding the lowest price. It's about having the best day of the year, the best night of your year, and we can play into that. No shortcuts. So you've seen a lot of this, but here's just some more evidence that photos work. So we had 203 likes on this. Asking questions works. So at the end here it says, what's your favorite part of staying at a hotel? Actually, it's not even that great of a question. So, but it did engender a lot of responses. But I pushed the team to ask more interesting questions in this. And then unique and interesting stuff works. So in this case, we had our first birthday a couple weeks ago, and somebody in the office baked a cake that looked like our logo. We put it up there and then asked, what do you want for your birthday, or what, something around birthdays or something like that, and it got a great set of responses. And I thought this was really fun and clever. It was on brand. It was unexpected, and it celebrated our success in a way that was participatory. So a couple weeks before that, here's what didn't work, which is a big paragraph of text. It's frustrating for me that the team put this out there. This was announcing Palm Springs. Palm Springs is a city with a lot of great stuff going on in it, a lot of nice visuals. We only got 36 people that said, great, you're in Palm Springs. We had 36 emails the week before asking, when are you going to get into Palm Springs? So this was a big miss. This was a big fail. And that's all right. We'll learn from that, and won't do that again. Yeah, so no photos, just not interesting, and then didn't give the audience a reason to comment. And the results speak for themselves. All right, so in terms of how we look at things and how we set up the team, we've got one person working on social media and these channels, and then I participate on them myself. I monitor them myself. It starts at the top and it goes all the way down, but in terms of our resources, they're pretty limited. But we like to establish a beachhead wherever our audience is. So right now that beachhead includes Google+, Tumblr. We have a Pinterest page that's a real placeholder page. And then I like to focus on the mobile-only social networks, or mobile-only, I guess you'd call them networks or apps. Instagram is one that's been very successful for us in extending our brand and doing things uniquely there. I posted a photo from my stay at the Wynn at the bar. I was at the bar last night and saw some cool stuff and took some photos and put it on Instagram. Foursquare, we use Foursquare. We put tips up about our hotels and have people friend us on Foursquare. And Trover is another social network that's sort of a combination of the two things. It's local discovery and travel with a photo orientation. It's a great app too, and we have a budding presence there. And then I like to go where no brand has gone before as well, and push the team and push the limits for Hotel Tonight. And we did a promotion a couple weeks ago called Words with Hotel Tonight. It was promoted on Facebook and Twitter, where we asked our customers to play Who plays Words with Friends? Other than me? Pretty good, yeah. So we saw a lot of our customers were playing it too, and so we asked them to play a game of Words with Friends against us, and if you beat us, you got $10 of credit for your next booking. If you beat us by 100 points, the first person would get $100 of credit. We thought it would be kind of fun. We had enormous response to that. People were very frustrated in the comments. I think we had about 70 or 80 comments saying, how come I can't play anymore, or how come you're not accepting my game request? And the issue was that we had 20 games going on, and that's all you can have on one account. So at one point we had 3 or 4 people around the office just playing Words with Friends. It was getting a little ridiculous. But it did give us it was a really interesting lesson learned about getting to where our customers were and participating in, if you think more broadly about social networks, it's about where are people spending time, where can you engage with them, how can you engage with them in more creative ways, and how can you do that in unexpected ways. So I think it was a huge win for us. It was really fun for the team. We're thinking about doing Hanging with Hotel Tonight. So those of you that play Words with Friends know what I'm talking about. And I should mention that Zynga was very pleased about this too, the owners of Words with Friends. They had never seen a company do this before and thought it was very cool. And they're thinking about how to make that more of an official program. Okay, so let's talk about social media on mobile. There's definitely a lot of action on social media on mobile. 60% of all Facebook's activity is on their mobile apps and mobile devices. That makes sense. A lot of mobile usage is sort of lightweight and short term. I have a few minutes. I need to just check something or do something. These lightweight interactions, and mobile is just perfect for that. So it makes sense. This was in their S1, but they don't make any money off of mobile, and that means there's no ads in mobile, which means it's very hard for me to say, great, we've got this great presence on Hotel Tonight on Facebook. We can link them directly from the Facebook app to the Hotel Tonight app. No, we can't do that yet. And likewise, the app ecosystem, there's the way that Apple's designed it, these apps are kind of like islands. You can't refer somebody into one of these apps. You can't, and know where they're coming from. So if we buy, $10 a click, hypothetically, we're not paying that much, but if we bought a keyword for last minute hotel on Google and sent somebody to the App Store, or if you are sitting there right now, which I hope you all are doing, and going to the App Store and downloading Hotel Tonight, we don't know that one person was $10, the other person was because I'm berating you into downloading the app. So we have no idea to measure the ROI and the impact of that, which means that from a marketing perspective, it's all black box, and it's very frustrating. So that limits our ability to do partnerships, that limits our ability to do targeted advertising, limits our ability to do anything really on social media where we can say that we did this campaign and it led to X number of bookings. So that was both a hindrance but also an opportunity. Going back to doing things the old-fashioned way, when we started the brand, we realized that that was going to be a hindrance for us, but it was going to be way more of a hindrance for somebody like Priceline or Hotwire or Hotels.com, because we could be really good at building a brand that people loved, a brand that was exciting and a brand that was interesting and spoke to people, and they could then develop an emotional connection with, versus these other companies that had a brand that stood for something else. So we did things the old-fashioned way and worked hard to do that, and that's led to a lot of viral and word-of-mouth growth, amplified and seeded by social media. So here's what we do now, though. And then I'll talk about where I see this going. So our newest release of the app, which came out about three days ago, has links to our mobile social profiles. So you can see, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Foursquare. And the interesting thing about this is when you tap those links, it takes you directly, if you have the app installed, it takes you directly to the page for Hotel Tonight on those apps. Most people do have these apps installed. If they've got Hotel Tonight Tonight, they figured out how to do Hotel Tonight. They probably, 95% of them, I think, have the app installed. If they don't, they go to the App Store and they install it, and then they'll be redirected to the Hotel Tonight profile the next time they tap this. And then you can see here on Hotel Tonight, we're actually growing our fan numbers, or our follower numbers here exponentially more than we were before we added this. And it's great for engagement. It's great to be in front of people where they are spending their time. And a lot of people spend time on Instagram. It was important for us to be there. Upper left-hand corner of this, you'll see the photo that I took last night at the parasol bar at the Wynn. Another way we use social media and mobile is with single sign-on, Facebook single sign-on. So the first time you go through Hotel Tonight, you have to, and first booking, you have to create an account. And creating an account is at least 25 taps. It depends on how long your name is, how long your email address is. But it's regardless, it's a pain, even if it's only 25 taps. It takes at least 45 seconds, probably more like a minute, minute and a half. If we use Facebook single sign-on, it redirects you to the Facebook application or the Facebook website if you don't have the Facebook application installed. It asks you to say it's okay for Hotel Tonight to access your data, and then it redirects you back. It takes 15 seconds, 2 taps. You don't have to remember another password, and then we also then get access to the social graph information for you. You can see that as us getting access to the social graph. I'd actually say that it's you can benefit from us having access to the social graph information with all the product improvements that we have in the works that will leverage that social graph and that social context. We'll get to that in a second. Some of the obvious stuff here is easy sharing of, obvious I say in terms of, it's like putting on the like button on a page on the web. It's stuff that should be done when you have content that's easy to share. We should put a share link in there. The challenge is, where do we link people to when they're sharing? And in this case, we just link them back to our Twitter page, and we're growing the brand, because there's no way in a tweet to say, go check out Hotel Tonight. Where are we going to link them to? We can link them to our homepage, I guess, and then they could link then to download the app, but it's not a great experience. So we're more saying that, hey, I booked a hotel last night in Chicago. I had a great experience using Hotel Tonight, and then you start thinking about, maybe I should check out Hotel Tonight. We think that there's about, for everyone that books on Hotel Tonight, we have to touch them and get in front of them 20 times before they book. That means they have to hear from us on Facebook 20 times, or they have to hear from a friend a few times, and then see one of our ads in Words with Friends, and then see us on Twitter, and then they'll take the time to download the app. Then they'll get an upgrade notification, and that'll be the 20th time, and then they need a hotel. And then one of the last things that we're doing that just came out in this new release was capturing hotel reviews. So after a stay, when you come back to the app, it'll present you with this window that says, would you recommend this to a friend or not? And then you have an ability to put in an optional comment about the hotel stay. And this, right now, we're not doing anything with it on the front end, but capturing this content, capturing this sentiment information, this rich content about opinions and about whether you'd stay there or not, it's a great piece of, it's a great foundational element for us to build social features on top of our app. So you could see, if you're looking at the Ace New York, that you've had 5 friends that have stayed there, and 2 of them liked it. And one of them thought that it was the best place they've ever stayed. That's going to be very cool when we get to that point. So what does that look like when we integrate the social layer? Other smart people have said that every product improves with social information on top of it. I agree. Almost every product, but every product that's trying to sell something, or most things, but anything that we'd be talking about here. So what does this adding the social information do? Well, there's a couple of feedback loops and benefits that it creates. So one is around discovery, share, and then retain users. I'll tell more about these. The other is about validation, trust, and conversion improvement. And then it also leads to, more broadly, a richer experience on the app, which creates loyalty and lock-in. Are you going to go to the app or the product that has social information from your friends, or are you going to go to the app that doesn't? Well, you're going to choose the one that has social context. And then it creates a miniature network effect. It's a network effect on an existing network. Facebook's won that war. They built the social graph. We're all just going to use it. But the information that we layer and attach to it is unique, and does create an additional social graph, a derivative social graph, if you will, that's important for us to create competitive advantage and lock in. This is Spotify. Who uses Spotify? Anyone? Getting there? Pretty good? Not bad for a product that's only about 6 months old, I think. So this is a music subscription service. And the way it works, it's extremely social. The entire DNA of the product is social. So this is a friend of mine, Dave Morin, who has, in the middle here is the music that he likes and the stuff that he listens to, as well as playlists. On the right-hand side is music that my friends, from my Facebook friends, are listening to in real time. So there's a lot of discovery here, a lot of interesting music I would otherwise not get access to or not know about. And then I can share that music. So what does all this do is it helps retain me as a customer. I'm paying $8 a month for Spotify Pro, and it's worth every penny. It's a wonderful service. It's a wonderful service because it's got the music I listen to, but more because it's pointing me to the music that I think I'll like, or that it thinks I'll like because of my friends. I can't get access to that anywhere else on the planet. $8 a month's a steal. The other loop is validation, trust, and conversion. So this is Airbnb. So results for Airbnb is, who's used Airbnb or knows of it? Okay, less than Spotify. But it's a service where you can rent a room out in somebody else's house, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's vacation rentals would be another way to describe it. So with staying in somebody else's house, trust is a big issue. They solve the trust problem by showing the friends that know the host, or your relation to the host, the person that's renting you the room. In this case, I've got 3 close friends from Facebook that are friends with the host. Immediate credibility. I feel very good about booking that room and staying in that person's house. And they feel likewise good about me coming into that house because we've got these friends in common. That leads to increased conversion. That leads to just a better experience overall and a better stay and more loyalty. So integrating the social layer is hard. It impacts the deepest, to do it right, you've got to impact the deepest levels of the product. It's got to be in the DNA and the soul of the product. So for existing products, it's hard. What my recommendation there is, I would start with one feature. Instead of doing sort of the easy stuff and tacking on social features to existing features, I'd take one feature and rewrite it completely from the ground up and really deeply integrate social as you really want it to be integrated. And just do it completely right. It's going to be hard. It's probably going to be 10 times harder than doing it from as an add-on to an existing feature, but it's going to be much better, and it's going to establish within the organization that social is super important. And this is, when I say big feature, I mean like the core search results. Where do people spend the most time? And then how can that process within the product be even better with social? We're talking about web products, of course, but a potential for other Facebook applications or other things to have a deeper social component. When you're doing new products, again, this is biased towards web products, but build those social structures into the data model, or build those social structures into every mock-up. Again, it's getting it into the DNA of the organization, into the thought process, that it's not this other thing, that it is the thing. And how do we make that happen? I wish I could go back in time and rebuild Hotel Tonight as a social app. We had enough going on to not do that, but if I could have had my way, we would have done that. All right, just 2 more slides. Stuff that I've learned and advice that I give. It's free, so take it for what you're paying for it. The conventional wisdom is to build this huge presence on Facebook and Twitter and promote it everywhere. I think the advice I have is choose the right channels and appropriate platforms for your brand, and only do those that are going to make a difference, and don't do the other ones. We have a very small presence on Google+. I think it's only like 300 followers. It's a lot of work. It's embarrassing, frankly, and it doesn't do anything new for us. We're not reaching new customers there. I've been trying to get the team to feel comfortable about just shutting it off. Let's hold on to the hashtag or the username there so that nobody else gets it, but let's just not do anything with it. It's just not exciting for us. And we've taken off links to that from our newsletter, for example. Meanwhile, Instagram is another example of a place that we want to be because that's where our customers are. This conventional wisdom is using a casual conversational tone, and I think that you can go too far with that pretty quickly. I think you need to use a tone and lingo that's appropriate for your audience. Don't worry about speaking to everyone. Worry about speaking to your customers. And if you have a good outcome with 5 of your customers or 5 of your influencers or whatever you want to call them, be excited about what you're talking about, then that means that who cares if you get 5,000 retweets from everybody because you're so clever. And then last is post info that has so sort of related to this. I jumped ahead, I guess. But post info that's relevant to your audience and your customers, and that's going to drive conversions, drive loyalty, and that's often and infrequently is it everyone in the world. We have on Hotel Tonight, everybody that uses Hotel Tonight has to be 21. So we know that we don't need to appeal to people that are 21 and under, and we don't. Okay, a couple of predictions. I think there will be ads on Facebook Mobile, especially once it's public and they need to generate some more revenue and answer to the street. That is going to be a great thing for us. It's going to be a great thing for mobile developers. It's going to be a great deal for the mobile ecosystem. I think that there'll be this referral tracking in the iOS ecosystem that's going to be as well great for getting the word out about apps, about creating viral and invitation loops that really work. This is a little controversial, but I'm not convinced that Pinterest is here to stay. We'll see. I definitely think you could replace this with Google+. I think Google+ will either be gone or it's going to look completely different in a few years. I'm not sure that if we look 5 years from now, Pinterest is something that's around. Or if it's more niche, I'm not sure. I do think social gaming is here to stay, and I think that is a really wonderful frontier for brands to interact with their fans. Not about necessarily creating a new game, though that would be great, but that's hard, but taking existing games and playing within them and being within them. And I think you'll see some of this stuff developing. And then I think Facebook will be the biggest company in the world. They're going to go public at $100 billion, and they'll probably end up at $1 trillion, not too far out. So, last prediction, I meant to write it down, is that my next computer is going to be a Mac Air, which is what I have now. But my computer after that will be an iPad. And so the desktop and PC era really is ending. And I think that as we think about mobile, it's really not about mobile, it's about post-PC. It's about the next set of devices that we use. So spend time on your brand about getting it looking well and looking right on tablets, which is really, the tablet word doesn't even need to exist anymore, it's really just iPad. And make sure it looks really good on iPhones. That's where the growth is. That's where we're seeing the best growth, and it's the easiest platform to develop for. Doesn't mean building an app, but it just means making sure the brand looks great on that, because that's all that will matter in the future.